Hi guys, welcome to the next video of the L555 core project car series for our Mx5 Eunos Roadster. So today, this is going to be the third episode in the series. I am going to be doing a minor service for the car. It's been sitting about for quite a while before I bought it, so I've just been running about as is, but I think you could probably do with the service. So that's what we're going to be doing today. I'll be showing you the basics. It's going to be an oil, filter and spark plug service. I do have a fuel filter, but I've heard there's quite a bit of a mare to do, so I might do that at another time. However, as we can see behind me, this is car with the ramps in front of it, ready to go. So basically, I'm going to give a bit of an update before we get started with it, because I have said for a few episodes now that I'm going to say what the car's name is, and I'm going to give a running budget with it as well, so you kind of all know where we're kind of sitting now. Basically, I've had the car now since, it'll be April time, so as I said, I'll run over a total of it and we'll see where we lead up. So so far, the car itself cost me £420. Then with there I had some work to get ready for the MOT, so that leads us with a sill repair, which cost me £51.32. We had to do the brakes to get again ready for the MOT. I've done that myself again, so that was £97.68. We also got a new steering wheel for it, the Momo steering wheel. That in itself cost me £40.06. Not going to forget that 6p now. We have the flash to pass, that in itself was 60p. As you all know, the videos are there, so if you wonder what it is, go and just give it a little watch, and now we've got our service now for all of the service parts: the plug, the filter, oil and fuel filter. It actually cost me £41.10. Got it from the local Euro car parts. Quite ironic that Euro car parts would have some Jap parts in stock, but anyway, so I got that as well, plus MOT repair costs, including a filler cap. So in that, and it's all takes us to, so far spent on the car, £661.75, plus £35 for the MOT, so that takes us, of a total budget of £1,500, we've got £803.25 left to spend. So that's where we are so far. Now the car in itself, as you look on it, it's still looking pretty nice. I need to get given it a really good polish, because some of the paint has been etched by the last time I cleaned it, which was a bit of an unfortunate incident, but we'll get around that eventually. Give it a nice polish, get it all shining up nicely. But I'm going to reveal what the name of the car is now. So while I've all got you here, so I had a little look for names. I liked keeping them in spirit with the country of the origin, so it's going to be a Japanese name. I had a little look around and I quite liked the name that I've chosen. So our project car is going to be called Mayuki. Actually means beautiful happiness in Japanese. It's quite a common Japanese name as well, I've led to believe. So that's what our project car is going to be called, Mayuki, the MX5. It did have to start with M as well, being Mx5, Mazda, Miata, Eunos Roadster, had to be with an M, so that's the name, Mayuki. Pretty buzzed, I think it's a very fitting name. So now that we've been all over that, we're going to get started. We're going to get the car up on the ramps and I'm going to go over the basics of getting service for you. So I shall see you all in just a moment or two. So guys, that's car up on the ramps now, so we've got space underneath to start working on it. Now looking at it, I thought I might as well show you what the actual product I'm going to be using on the car is. So to start off with, we have our spark plugs, and these are actually, as I believe, an upgrade to the current ones that will be in there. And these are Super 4s. I'll include all the product numbers and such in the description so you can get your own service kit. I said this was all just off the shelf from Euro car parts. It was all there, had it all within 30 seconds in my hands. I'm using a cross lens oil filter, so just so you know what it looks like. Here it is here. So it's a pretty standardised item. I'll show you where that's located and how to get it off. And then lastly, most important bit that we have is our oil. Now again, this is what was on special, and it's actually good because looking at it, it's Petronas Synthium 3000 FR. It's 5W30 oil, fully synthetic, which I also prefer using. It's got an API rating of SN, which is pretty good for a petrol engine. So I'm just about to start letting the oil out now. Now, a top tip I'd always do is, up here you've got your oil filler cap, take that off, makes it easier to come out and such for you. And what I've just done, basically for catching the oil, is went down to local B&M's, picked up a hand basin, 99p. It'll be a lot easier holding all the oil in there. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the old oil back in the current container so I can take to my local recycling centre so we can get that disposed of correctly. Some places won't accept it. Recycling centres, you may need to take it to a certain place depending on where you are, and that will be different. Now, with regards to the spark plug, I'm actually using a 16mm spark plug socket. It's what fits over these Super 4s. Spark plug sockets have an empty little rubber ring. I don't know if you can see it in there. But what that does, it actually grabs the whole of the spark plug so it doesn't drop so it doesn't drop back in to the cylinder and either smashing the ceramic or damaging the rest of the cylinder. So I'm just going to jump onto the car and then we can start draining the oil out. So guys, we're underneath the car now. So this is where the main oil, well, the sump release plug is going to be. Budge. Just about to smash my phone. It's a great start. So yeah, so under here, if I just turn the camera slightly around, if we see in here is actually where the sump plug is. I'm just using a standard 19mm ring spanner. So I'm just going to start untightening this now, and now I'm going to give you a bit of a top tip here that I learned so oil's starting to come out already, so I'm just going to pull the basin underneath it. But a trick I learned is when you're undoing it, try and undo it by hand. But what to do is try and keep pressure on the sump plug until you get to the last thread, and then in theory you should just need to drop your hand out of the way, but I think I'm going to get myself covered in oil. So I'm on the last thread now. 3, 2, 1, there we go. It actually worked miraculously well. What I would always recommend when you're going to do a service on a car, wear some old clothes that you're not going to really worry about if they get contaminated, because oil is never going to come out in a month of Sundays in any of your clothes, whether it be you use 140 degrees power wash and along with a, well, I say about 25 scoops of Vanish, it's not going to come out. So make sure it's old clothes, you're not going to be bothered about if they're covered in oil. That's just drained out quite nicely there, so I'm just going to go to the top of the engine while I let that drain out completely. So guys, we're here at the top of the engine now. Bottom of the engine, it's just still draining out the remainder of the oil. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start doing the spark plugs in the meantime. Now, I'm just going to shove around the camera just so I can let you see it. So, top end of the engine, the spark plugs are housed under these silicone hoses here. Now, what I would always recommend is doing one at a time. So just pop the first one off, move it out of the way. You'll see a spark plug right at the bottom in there, and do them one at a time, because if you get that lead mixed up, in this car it's not much of a difficulty because you can see they're actually different lengths. It's not as much of a problem, but if you do it on another car, particularly cars with distributors, if you get the firing order mucked up, it won't start. So pay attention to what you're doing. Do one off at a time, that way it's pretty foolproof. You're only in, off, basically. So I'm going to get cracking with that while the oil is still, yeah, you can just about see it under there, it's still trickling out, and I'll just continue on with here. So guys, that took much longer than what I wanted it to. As typical, my socket with the extension in it was pushing out the socket, not getting a big enough grip on it. So this is the one that we had in before. It was an KR, so they're pretty alright. Just have a quick look at the new one. Well, the difference, there's quite a bit of soot built up on this, as well as always make sure that your threads are actually the same, which is perfect. Now, because it's different style, I can't measure plug gap, but they're set from the factory, they're meant to be correct, so I'll trust the factory on this one. So this is the first plug going back in, nice shiny new. Now, top tip I would just give you is don't over tighten, because if you do that then it could lead you into a world of trouble. So make sure you do them just tight enough to get in, and then pop the plug back on. Repeat that 3 more times for the rest of the cylinders, and then you're pretty much good to go. So I've completed doing all the spark plugs now, so I'm just going to move on to the oil filter. Now, if you look into this wee gully under here, you might actually be able to see it. Should just be nice and easy when you get your hand in to, once you get a hold of it, just to twist away. There you go, this one's coming off. So twist that off, nice and easy, and then you can just slip on your new filter. Okay guys, we're still here at the oil filter section. Now, I don't have an oil filter removal tool, so I'm going to try and make one myself with no belt. Basically, I'm not getting enough grip onto it to be able to turn it and get it off. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try and just basically fasten this around, have the oil filter in there, tighten it up, get a good enough grip on here with the canvas, and then hopefully it will spin off with the grip, in theory. So let's just give it a go. I'm going to try and wrap it around now. Now, we're underneath now. You can see my belt just in the wind here. So let's just tighten. Oh, great start. I'll get that reconnected. Okay, sometimes you do just need to get the right tool. I will be back in recording in about 10-15 minutes once I've taken a trip to local Halfords for a specialist tool. Be back in a second. Okay guys, just back from Halfords now, and got the tool that we need to get the filler cap removed. Oil filter removed from the car. This is I'm going into brain dead mode now, but here it is here. It costs all of £4.99, and you know something, for the sake of the price of it, I think it's very much worth it. So let's get back under the bonnet and let's try attempt number 2 at getting the oil filter off. Okay guys, we're under here now. Now, as I believe it, I can't remember the last time I've used one of these, but basically how they work is that the chain will go round the oil filter. It hooks into one of the spokes here, and when you go to turn it, it then tightens on this side, gripping it ever tighter to get it off. So it should be simple. Should. So I'm going to try to tag it from the top side first. In fact, no, I'm not. Yeah, sorry. Try to decide what's going to be best here, but it's just going to have at it. Just need to get the belt out the road. Okay guys, so in the end, we finally got it off. It was a mare of a job, and actually, you better off not using that chain. It doesn't actually work. There's not enough room in it. So what I actually ended up doing was getting one of these tri-clamp gripper things, attach it onto a flexi joint, onto there. You get enough room, and then it lets you just take it off basically. A lot easier than beforehand. So what it means is it's time to put our new filter on. Always recommend getting a bit of the oil off the old one. There'll probably be debates about this, but just smear it on the new seal, so make sure you get a nice even seal when you go to put it back on. So we're over here now. As you can see, in there, in there you can see exactly where it comes from. What I'm going to do this time is not put it on as tight, and that way it means that should it come to replace again, that I don't need to get silly extractor tools and stuff out, but you still want it on tight enough. So after then we'll be putting on the oil. Just to explain about the oil ratings is, as I said beforehand, it is Mx5W30 oil, so it's decent enough. It should be what goes in this car, I'm led to believe, from looking at forums and other sorts. On the ratings on it, you had me earlier asking about SP and see the SP, the API. So basically, the higher number next to S relates to spark, N higher the letter the better, C is for combustion, again higher the letter the better. So I've got some premium grade oil here, full synthetic, going to be brilliant for the car, keeping it running. So we'll just have to fashion a funnel out of a top of a bottle or something and get it topped with oil. Right, so this should be the final bits left to get in the car running from now. Now, for you, those that have been looking at the engine bay in the background, you've probably seen that I've got this old tacky air filter on it. It will be getting changed at some point, but it's not a service item at the moment because it's not a standard one. I prefer it to be, but yeah, you can't get everything in life, can you? So, just so you see how lovely golden brown new oil is that's going in. So I've got 4 litres here. I don't think it'll be any more than that. I hope not, but we'll see. Start by putting in 3 litres to start with, and then half a litre over my fingers. See where we end up. So is that a clock? One thing I'd recommend doing as well is take the dipstick out so it doesn't splash back in when it gets to the top. So just do a little check, see if it's even registering yet. Nope. Still not registering. We'll keep glugging. Another good thing about it is going through the top down is it'll coat almost every engine part. Nice shiny new oil. Keep it going. Just another check up. Still not touching the bottom. I think I might take all of this. Still got about another litre left. Tip is always hold it sideways as well, less air passes through it so you don't get as much glug in. See if it's registering yet. Might need another trip for oil. I'll just let it settle a bit before it goes down in. It's just starting to coat the bottom end. Maybe just call for a wee bit more. It's that clean oil that you can't even tell when it's popping up on the thing. This is the boring and tedious bit of doing an oil change, but so try this. I believe that should be enough oil for it. Give it a start up, see what it says. Right guys, we're in car now, just about to go for the start up, see how she goes. So here we go, fingers crossed, let's see what happens. Seems to be running pretty sweet. So So it's a successful oil change and such for you. So that's what's going to be in for today's episode. It'll just be getting off the ramps and get her off and done. But certainly, definitely sounds a lot sweeter. Oil seems to be going down quite nicely. Oil pressure still seems roughly the same as what it was beforehand. So all in all, good time. So that's going to be it for today, guys. Remember to like and subscribe for further videos, and there'll be some more hopefully come up sooner rather than later for little Mayuki here. As I said, like, subscribe, we'll get to see what's happening next. But that's Corey signing off. I'll catch you all on the flip side.